guys, this is Tina from Shabbydabbydoodah. Welcome back to my channel. So I'm here really at a request that I've had from a couple of ladies who were wanting some suggestions of holiday crafting. So I thought that I would come along and share one or two things that I did whilst I was on my holiday. So going to share the first thing. So first of all, I've got this, what I think was actually a kind of makeup bag. And I bought it a couple of years ago from Cheap Shop Primark. It's got these two kind of sections and I can fit tons and tons of things in here. So, you know, I just filled this up with a whole bunch of things, some fussy cut pieces, you know, some flowers. I think I even had some wax seals in here. I've got lace, I've got ribbon, all sorts of stuff going on in here for just, you know, things that I can grab. And that just obviously just, you know, velcros up and, you know, is then together like a little bag. I keep my scissors in there as well, so that was all kind of quite, you know, portable for going on holiday. So, I mean, just a recommendation really for a little pouch of some kind, maybe a makeup bag or something like that, that you can just chuck a ton of things in. You know, some ready-made clusters, flowers, you know, all sorts of things really. Like I say, I also had my scissors in there, and I also took my Tim Holtz tiny attacher in there as well. I took my blendy tool and some distress ink as well. So, I mean, I could get a surprising lot of stuff in there, you know, which was then going to be fit for all sorts of things. Now, obviously, I had an advantage because I did a cruise where you're not restricted, you know, weight-wise of the luggage that you can take. Obviously, I was a bit restricted weight-wise because it got to the point I could barely lift my case, but, you know, wasn't restricted weight-wise. So I did have an advantage there. But what I'm going to do is focus on a couple of ideas for if you are restricted weight-wise or space-wise. You know, maybe you're travelling in the car and you won't have that much space or anything for a dedicated craft bag. So this was one of the things that I made whilst I was on holiday. And basically, I'm just going to kind of show you. And then hopefully we're going to come back in another video and we're going to finish this one off. And then we're also going to make another one from scratch so that you can kind of see how I actually made it. Well, that's if I can actually remember how to make it. But yeah, this was one of the things that I made. And hopefully I'm going to have another video coming up with another thing that I also made. Now, obviously, because, you know, when you're on holiday, I mean, you're not going to be sat in your room all the time crafting. So the chances are you're going to get a certain point and then you're not going to actually manage to finish your project. And that's definitely what happened here. But what I did was I took basically an entire kit. So this was my Isabella kit. And I just literally double-sided a whole bunch of pages on really nice quality. This is that thicker quality. I think this is like 230 GSM cardstock. And then basically it was all double-sided. So when you think that, you know, if we're talking about if you haven't got much room for lots and lots of things, you could just print off a complete kit and that would be, you know, it paper-wise. And then what I also did was I'd taken a few envelopes. So what you could do is take, you know, a big size envelope, like an A4 envelope, stuff it with your kit that maybe is kind of typically, I don't know, you know, between 10 and 20 pages, say, of your printed papers. Then take a few envelopes with you, maybe some coffee dyed papers or, you know, however you like to use your papers, be it coffee dyed, food coloured or plain, you know, that would be fine too. And then what you could do, put that all in the envelope. So you've got your envelope full of all your papers that you're going to need. And you've got your makeup bag or pouch or, you know, something similar, full of all your bits with lace and, you know, flowers and everything else that you may want to need. You've got your scissors in your makeup bag or pouch. You've got your glue in there and all of those things. And then what I also did was I chucked a load of sari silk also into that same pouch. So I also had sari silk with me. You know, again, what I'm saying is that bag was very, very spacious. So I was able to really get a lot of things into that bag. So, you know, it's not a big bag taking up a lot of room, but it's got a very big content. So, you know, if you can find something like that, then that would be fantastic. And then basically what I've done, and obviously, like I say, this is a sort of semi-finished project because, of course, you know, I was on holiday and so I've just to get, you know, it out of my system when I wanted to do some crafting, I just put this together to then finish off when I got home. If I obviously had managed to finish it on holiday, that would have been great, but, you know, obviously I didn't. So I'm going to just kind of run you through what I did. So basically what I've done, I've glued 2 sheets together here, if you can see, and then basically I've glued them at the edge like this, and I've put envelopes, one here, which again I lined obviously with the coordinating paper with the kit. I've put some decorative paper on the front, again from the Isabella kit, and then here again here, and another envelope here. So it's all beautifully coordinated and, you know, all looks really good. Glued those, like I say, in between these 2 pages and glued those together. And then all I did after that was just took a bunch of pages that I folded over and cut down. I also included a coffee dyed page, which hopefully I can show you. Yep, a coffee dyed page here. And then I did another envelope where again I've just lined it with some of the matching paper from the kit again, and I've attached that to the coffee dyed paper. And then, you know, I've just had some spare sheets which I've made things like an envelope, or this might be this is a Matchbox book, not an envelope. But yeah, so that I could make some bits of ephemera for either gluing into my my book here, or for paper clipping in. And then I began building up my foundation piece. So basically I folded all my bits over, and then I'd taken my crocodile with me, which again, this would also fit in that makeup pouch. So all I did was punched a couple of holes into my paper here. And then for my binding, I just literally took some sari silk, bound that through. So, I mean, it's very different binding style to anything else I've ever really made. So, you know, it's not tightly bound or anything like that, but it's certainly bound well enough. So that's that. And then obviously I've got all my pages here. And then what I did was, with my spare pages that I hadn't used from the kit that I had taken, I began building bits onto them, if that makes sense. So I began kind of gluing on extra pages, which are going to give then extra detail. This one I think I made into, yep, I've got a pocket here. So, you know, we've built up what was a very, very basic journal, just literally made with those few background pages. I mean, count up how many pages I've got. So I've got the cover, and then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages. That's it, 6 pages. But obviously once you've folded them, that becomes 12 pages, which then also becomes, you know, 24 sides. So, you know, although I've only used 6 pieces of paper, plus obviously double for the cover, it's actually given me quite a good basis, because then what I've done is I've taken some extra pages, like I say, and I've glued them on to make extra interest. So here, for instance, I've just taken a page, folded it over here and cut it down to make a pocket, but then I've glued it onto this page. So straight away, I'm not saying that's an extra page, but it's an extra piece. Then I've done similar here on the back. So on the back, I've left it open to show you. I've got the same as the front. So the 2 sheets of paper like this. I've done an envelope on the back just like I did on the front. So I've lined it here and then put some paper on there. My sari silk is going to be my closure, so I've glued that down on here. And then here I've just got another little flap like that, just with an extra sheet of paper. And then all I will do here is, and we'll do it now together, I'm just going to glue my sides together like that. So then what I've got is obviously a whole nother pocket page like that. Okay, so we just glue that down, and that's given you a whole nother pocket in here. So, you know, we've gone from just literally 6 pages, which is pretty basic, and I've tried to do a few different size pages as well, so, you know, it's got a bit of interest going on there, to then adding extra bits. So yeah, I thought we would go ahead and actually make one of these so that you can kind of see it from start to finish, because obviously my description maybe isn't brilliant. And then we'll probably come back and decorate this together and complete it. And then I'll show you some ideas of how to get journaling space in, because obviously at the moment, a lot of the pages, they're quite decorative, and you could obviously journal in here and in here, could obviously journal here, but you may want to add some extra pages. And this is where, when you get home, you can obviously add some extra pages. But this is just the foundation piece, and just by basically, you know, taking those very, very minimal supplies, you're able to put together something that's really going to be quite functional by the time that you add bits to it. So I'm going to grab a kit that we're going to use, and we're going to make something similar to this. Okay, so I'm back. Now I've printed off my springtime kit here. Now I have to say I've printed off a sort of variety really. So I've got some here that I obviously forgot to set the setting to borderless. So yeah, that's those. I've got some here that are the ephemera pieces of the kit, and then I have got some that I have printed double-sided and borderless. So yeah, I obviously kind of remembered what I was supposed to be doing halfway through printing. So yeah, so let's get making this little journal piece here. So basically what I've done, I'm going to start exactly as I did with this one. So first of all, I want to take my cover, or you know, what's going to be my cover sheets, and fold them in. Now this is a little bit of a waste, I have to say, because I'm going to have to use, I think, the double-sided pieces for the cover, because my pieces that aren't double-sided, would you believe, are the pieces that are not borderless. So yeah, that's a bit of a shame, but never mind, it's all fine. So if I just take a couple of sheets, okay, so this is my, yeah, springtime kit. Lots of very cute images of the animals and the chicks and all of that kind of stuff on this. So yeah, really, really sweet kit. Obviously available in my shop if you wanted to go over and check it out at all. So fold this down like that. Now, just want to decide, yeah, I think what I'm going to do is have it like this, like that, okay? So that's my cover. And then what I did was I then got a couple of envelopes here and put them into my cover. So this is where I discover I have no envelopes. So, right, let me just reach behind me where I've got some envelopes. Hang on. Okay, right. So, I've got my envelopes. Now, I have to say, I did use thinner paper. This is printed here on 200, I think, GSM. What I lined my envelopes with on this one was not 200. It was regular copy paper. So I might have to go off and quickly hunt some regular copy paper down now to be able to line those. Just because if you line them with this, it's going to be quite thick and it may kind of alter how your envelope is folding. Let me just see if I've got some here. Oh, do you know, I might just use some of this because it just seems a little bit wasteful otherwise, doesn't it, to actually have to print some off again. Although this is pretty thick, I've got to be honest. Well, let's give it a go. Let's give it a go and see. So, move that out of the way. Right. So all I'm going to do is line my envelopes first of all. So I'm just going to take this like this. Just cut this down. Okay. Let's just trim this here. Like that, and then across the top. I mean, you're just really wanting it to be able to fit inside your envelope. So I'm just going to cut this down here. And obviously I will be trimming this, you know, trimming this down once it's in the envelope. So I might have to take it slightly further down here. Okay. So that's all I'm going to be doing with that one. Obviously, you may want to take your glue spreader on holiday with you. I also did take a glue spreader on holiday with me. So I'm just going to glue this in. Like that. Okay. So lots of glue, like this. Okay, and then we push that in. I mean, obviously you've all seen me line envelopes before, so nothing, you know, nothing very interesting going on here. Okay, now I'm just going to trim this down, because obviously this doesn't matter. This is going to be tucked into the flap, or, you know, what's going to effectively be a pocket. So this is all fine. It doesn't really matter that it's, you know, not the right size for the envelope, if you see what I mean. So then I just fold my envelope over back where the crease was. I can even see where the crease was. Okay, like that. Okay, so we'll just glue that, press that down. Okay, so that's the first one, and then I'm just going to line the second one in with the same paper, just, you know, just to be efficient really. So again, just snip that down. That in here. Honestly, I mean, this is such a simple project, and just, you know, I mean, to be honest, as well as being a sort of holiday project, you know, vacation project, this could be a, you know, TV project. It could, you know, yeah, you could easily do this loads of different times. You know, you could take it camping with you. It's really, really, really easy, and, you know, something really beautiful that you actually make. You know, sometimes it's hard when you go on holiday trying to make something that actually is going to be very functional when you get home. But this, I thought, was such a brilliant one, because it is very, you know, very functional once you've actually got home. It's not like you've made something that then it's like, oh, well, you know, that was good to make, but it's got no purpose now. It is actually, you know, pretty functional once you come home. Oops. Oh, I always find lining envelopes so tricky. Okay, right, so we're just going to glue this down like that. And then exactly as we did with the first one, I'm just going to trim this down across here. Okay, like that. Let's just throw all these bits of scraps into the bin, just to try and keep the desk a little bit clearer. And then we're going to just fold this over again, straight on the crease of the, you know, the original crease of the envelope. Oops, I was way off there. Should really put my glasses on, because I actually can't really see where that crease actually was. But hopefully I'm vaguely where it was there. Okay, right. So that's my envelopes lined. So I've got one here, which is going to be for the front. Oh, you realise what I've done now. Not a deliberate mistake. Oh no, it's fine. Right, there we go. So that's my two envelopes, which are going to form the envelopes on the front cover. Then I had just a sheet, so two sheets. So again, just going to pull in my double-sided paper. One. Oops. And then another one. I mean, I'm just pulling them in randomly. I'm not kind of worrying at all about, you know, what's going to be where. So, like that. Okay. Now then I interspersed it with actually a coffee dyed sheet. Now again, you know, completely optional. You don't have to be doing this exactly as I've done it. I just thought that the coffee dyed sheet was quite nice for a change. Now, have I got some coffee dyed paper? That's the question. Oops. That's a very thin sheet. Let me just see whether I've got any that's thicker. No, I don't think I have. Right, I haven't got a thick coffee dyed sheet nearby. So I'm going to, instead of this sheet, I'm just going to go for another patterned sheet. Okay? So, yeah, let's just fold that in. Now this one I made, I think, slightly smaller, so just going to fold it in like that. And then you can probably see here, there's a complete natural place there to be able to put a pocket. So you can just fold that over and just form a pocket like that. So that's just going to slot into there. So that's that one. I also then attached an envelope. Now again, because I've now, you know, done something slightly different here, because I've folded this over, my envelope would not work quite as it has here. So what I can do, if I just grab in another envelope, hold on. Okie dokie. Right, now this envelope, yep, it's going to be too big for there. So instead, I'm just going to put my envelope here instead. So you can see, you know, you really got a lot of different options here. You do not have to do it exactly as I've done it. You know, you can just kind of wing it when it comes to, you know, making it. So I'm just going to trim this down a bit here, and then we will line this envelope in a minute. Okay, so that's going to be that page, that page. Then I've got, this was just a Matchbox book that I made from one of the leftover pages. Then I had another page. So again, let me just grab in another sheet. Now, again, just fold that like that. Now, I probably will, you know, trim these down in a minute so that they're slightly smaller. Then I did another one where it's actually much smaller on one side than the other side. So again, you know, this is all optional and just depends, you know, if you want to make it sort of more interesting and have maybe some, you know, some smaller pages, then this is, you know, yeah, just a kind of suggestion really at how to do it. So basically, just going to take this one like that, fold that in, and then I can just fold this one here like that. So again, then I can just literally put some glue here and glue there, and that then has formed that page. Now then, the final page, as you can see, my original one was here in the coffee dyed paper, but because I do not have any coffee dyed paper with me, obviously I'm going to just use some more patterned paper. But that's all fine. It's, you know, it's all fine. It's all going to work just as well. So let me just grab another double-sided one. Right, I've got this one, which actually probably not the ideal one. Let me just grab another one off the printer. Hold on. Okay, so I've just grabbed another sheet off the printer. It's still printing, you know, whilst I'm talking. So I'm just going to take this one and again just fold this in, and then probably just do another pocket maybe here like that, and then we could do a pocket going this way round on the other one. Okay, so like that. Now that is it basically for my formation of my book. And then of course I can add envelopes and things like that as I feel like it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just quickly glue my envelopes here onto the cover. So we've got one here like that. Okay. Okie dokie, so that's the first one. Made a horrible job of cutting that, didn't I? It's not straight at all. But that's fine, nobody's going to see that because obviously it's, you know, it's inside this, which is essentially going to be a flap. And then we'll glue our next one down. So this one basically. So again, just glue this one down. Here, like that. Oh, these are such happy papers to use, obviously in these pretty colours. I mean, it's, I think the first kit that I've made really, actually, it might not be the first kit that I've made. I was going to say the first kit that I've made using animals and things, but actually I have done some others. You know, the cutesy animals. I have got another one and I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, so ignore me. It's not my first kit that I've done with cutesy animals actually, but it's the first one that I've done for a long time. It's certainly the first one that I've done using sort of farm animals, so it was very fun to make, I have to say. So that's that. Now, as I showed you before, I hadn't even closed this back pocket up yet. So that's just to demonstrate, you know, if you're going to put another envelope, say, on the back, you can do that at a later stage. And similarly, you know, all the flaps and all of those kinds of bits I added after binding. So I'm going to just move this out the way, bring my pages back in. Now, I probably should glue my pockets together, just because I feel like actually they're a little bit in the way. And to be honest, it would just be easier to bind it if it's actually kind of, you know, more neatly, you know, yeah, folded over. So I'm just going to fold these down, glue them in. And obviously, you know, obviously this is vacation crafting, holiday crafting. If you were at home, you could obviously stitch these on the sewing machine. You wouldn't even need to use glue. You could stitch them, you know, if you like that look. So, you know, you've got lots of different options. This is the option, obviously, for if you're on holiday, but there's no reason why you couldn't stitch these on the sewing machine, to be honest, if you were at home. So again, just take this one in like that, and that one. Again, just using my wipe to stick that down like that. Okay, whoops. Now I could probably do with leaving this to actually, you know, actually stick together, but I won't do that. Let's go straight ahead and go into the binding. Actually, I'm going to just quickly glue this one down. And the other thing is, I mean, I've glued all of these down as pockets. These could have been little opening flaps, to be honest. There's no reason why these have to be, you know, little pockets. I've done that. I don't know really why I've done that. I just, yeah, that was my automatic thought. But there's no reason why you couldn't have these as little flaps. You could then stick some coffee dyed paper on and things, you know, to actually journal on them. That would also be very, very cute. Now, as you can see, I've just got an overhang here where my pages are a little bit too long, you know, because obviously they're the same size as the cover. So I'm just going to go in and just cut these down slightly. And, you know, again, no stress, no drama. I'm not measuring. I'm not using a paper trimmer, which I may come to regret. I'm just literally, you know, going in and snipping that down. So that's that one. And then I had a couple here which were also overhanging slightly, so I'm just going to take those down too. And, you know, this is completely optional. It might not bother you, them overhanging. And even if it does, you can always, you know, disguise that when you get home by kind of putting some fabric trims and things like that over your cover, so you actually can't see that they're overhanging anyway. So, you know, there's always kind of workarounds. If you haven't taken that step of actually gluing them in, you know, it doesn't really matter, because you can always obviously fix that afterwards. Now the next thing, just going to literally glue my front flap down like that, and I'm just going to glue it down here as well. So not actually in the middle, but, you know, pretty much close to the middle. So take my page and just close that up like that. Okay, like that. Okie dokie. Right, now what I want to do now is bind my little journal using sari silk. So sari silk was what I used whilst I was on holiday, because obviously I had taken, you know, a bunch of sari silk with me, and I thought that would make rather a nice binding. So I'm just quickly pulling out, oops, not that piece obviously, because that would have been very tiny, but just seeing what I've got here in terms of sari silk. So oops, no, that's not going to be quite right, is it? What about this one? So I'm thinking go with something green. So yeah, probably this, or do we want to go for this? Oh, I don't know now. This is a bit of a tough decision, isn't it? Hold on. Decisions. Let's have a look. Right, let me just pull in a couple of pages and see what's going to look best. Oh, I don't know. I actually really like both. Ooh, this is really, really hard. I think I might use this one because this seems quite wide, so I might be able to do ruffles and things with that instead. So, right, all you're going to do then is literally punch a couple of holes with your crocodile. Now, I used the, you know, the bigger holes. Did I use the bigger holes? Yeah, just had to double check then that I wasn't talking rubbish. So all I did was I just put it like that and kind of like across the fold. So make sure that, you know, your pages are in place and your piece is down here, and that way you know you're doing exactly the same spot on the front, or you know, the top and the bottom. So again, just put that in and across the fold like that. Okie dokie. And then all you're going to do is obviously thread your sari silk through. Now, if you haven't got sari silk, you could have used ribbon. You know, you could use lace, you could use some sort of soft netting. I mean, you could just use fabric, to be honest. You do not have to have sari silk. So please don't think, you know, that this is kind of another thing that you have to buy. You don't have to have sari silk at all. It's just that I have bought some, you know, not that long ago, and yeah, I'm just loving the sari silk. So I thought that would be really pretty to bind it with that. And then all I did was obviously just tied it in a bow at the edge, and that is literally it. So I'm just going to move my bow up a little bit. It feels like it should be up the top. Oh gosh, now this is not very easy to move. Hang on. Okay. And then, you know, you might be able to double knot that or something to keep it bound better. Keep it bound better. I'm not sure that's really very good English, but anyway. So like that, I'm just going to snip this bottom bit off like that. And that's literally it. And that's your little journal. So like I say, you can from here add in some extra envelopes and things. We had an envelope just now, which I'm not sure even what I've done with that. Oh, what did I do with it? Oh, there it is. So I'm going to line this envelope and then put this, you know, maybe on here or something. I will probably do that off camera so as to not bore you with me just lining another envelope, because I'm sure that's not really the most exciting thing to watch. But what I also then did when I was on holiday was I took some of the extra sheets from the kit and just made some extra little folds. So if I just grab, for instance, this one, these pages here, they're all complete pages. They're, you know, they're quite boring, aren't they? So basically what you could do is make some extra flappy type bits to come off of your journal. So for instance here, cut this down a little bit here like that. Okay, like that. And then you can just literally hook that over there, and it gives you then a little flap off of that page. So I'm just going to glue that down here. So just all along top and bottom like that. Okie doke. And then we just hook that over like that. Whoops. Like that. So I hope everyone's having a good day. I hope you're doing some crafting, having a nice time. If you're going on holiday soon, you know, let me know if you think this is something that could potentially work for you, maybe as a, you know, good way to do some crafting on holiday. If you've just got back from holiday, maybe let everyone know what you took, you know, as your holiday crafting. You know, if you've got some other ideas and suggestions for what works well on holiday, then, you know, that would be fantastic to share that. You know, because obviously it's always really good to hear some other suggestions, isn't it? So this one obviously was the piece that I cut off just now. So all I'm going to do is again fold this round like this. Okay, squish that down with my scissor handle. And then I can glue that onto here, like that. So, and just gluing this all around. Okay. Like that. Glue that down like that. So we've then expanded that whole page by 2 flaps, if you see what I mean. So we've got a flap now here on this side, which opens out, and then we've got a flap on the other side, which opens out. Now I'm just going to trim this down because I should have trimmed it down before sticking it in, but I hadn't really noticed quite how diabolical my cutting had been previously and how, oops, lopsided it was. Now I think I'm actually making it even worse. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, what a shocking job I've made of that. Again, so it's not the end of the world because we can always disguise that by putting something on that edge. But I've then got these couple of pieces here which I may want to cover up. So I'm going to just bring in some of those sheets that I said that I had that were not double-sided. So for instance, this one. So I'm just going to cut this down here. Like that, and just snip off where that bit's not borderless. And then we'll just cut along here. Like that. Okay, oh dear. And then what you can do is obviously glue this down, making a little pocket here, which obviously then is disguising the couple of bits that have been glued onto that sheet. So one, okay, like that. Okie doke. Just press that down like that. So then you have a pocket in here as well. So you've got, you know, all from this one sheet, you've got a pocket here, you've got a flap here, turn it over, and then you've got a flap here as well. You could always put, you know, something else on this page as well. So, you know, then all you're going to do is build up, basically, using your kit that you took on holiday with you. So all of your extra sheets, you can just now build up and add pieces, be it pockets, be it, you know, belly bands or, you know, whatever else. So for instance here, I could just chop this down. Oh my goodness, what is going on with my cutting today? It is terrible, to say the least. And then I'm just going to fold this in like this. Now I'm doing this deliberately because it needs to come in quite a bit. You know, deliberately smallish. So, biggish, sorry. Deliberately biggish. I hope I've taken it in enough. I might come unstuck, but let's have a look. And then find one of my bigger pages. So this one here, for instance. And then you could put this on there. So again, just going to fold this bottom piece up to make this into a pocket. Okay. Now I'm just going to trim this down because that's huge at the moment. Like that. Right, and then we're just going to cut our little corners. There, like that, and like that. Okay. And the other thing is with this, it's such a fantastic way to really make sure you use all of your kit. Because obviously, you know, you've taken a whole kit on holiday with you. And by just building up your pages now, you really can then use up every single little piece that you took with you. You know, I'm not sure that I even took the ephemera pieces with me, to be honest, on holiday. I might have just taken the background pages, I can't remember. But if you've taken the ephemera pieces, of course you could just cut those out and, you know, pop them into pockets and things like that. But if you haven't, you can just use your background pages as I am here to make all your pockets and belly bands and, you know, what have you, to build your little journal up. So, for instance, there, that's that little pocket there. How gorgeous is that? It just looks so cute, doesn't it? And then, you know, like I said before, depending on, you know, how much time you have, obviously, you know, you're on holiday, you might not really get time for full-on crafting. But, you know, depending on how much time you have, or when you come home, this is when you can now go to town and you can decorate up your bits and pieces. So, you know, you might want to have something like a little ruffle here to kind of make your pockets show up more. You could put a thumb hole in there, you know, you could put some little ruffle down the bottom, however you like, you know, to make your pieces kind of stand up more, or stand out more. Now, the only piece that we didn't do, or didn't finish off, I think, really, is this back one, where in the original, I then had another flap with some more of the decorative paper. So, again, just going to take this down here, and I'm just going to cut this down here, like that. Like that. And then we can just pop this into here. And that's going to be another little flap there, like that. And then the other thing was, I then did another envelope on the back of the outer cover. So I will show you exactly what I mean in a second. Which obviously, you know, is exactly as per the other envelopes that I've done. So, you know, made exactly the same. So we just pop this one in like that. Okie doke, like that. Press that down. So instantly, not only has that reinforced this, you know, for when this is going to be used as a pocket, it's now kind of much thicker and more robust. But again, we've added an extra little layer of interest, an extra sort of page, if you like. So, you know, it's all kind of like good stuff that we've been doing here. So I'm just going to grab in one more envelope just to sort of demonstrate. This was the only other thing that I did on the original, was I had another envelope here on the back, which of course I would then make exactly as I've made the others by just reinforcing it with some more of the paper, and then obviously gluing that down like that, and then like that, and then bit of glue here along the edge, bit of glue here along the edge, and then glue those together, and that gives you your little pocket in there. So yeah, I hope that that's made kind of sense. I hope it's given you some, you know, really awesome ideas and things for some holiday crafting. You know, if you're going on holiday. And like I say, you know, if you are going on holiday and you've got some other fantastic, you know, suggestions, then please do share them, because, you know, it's really great to get some other ideas. It's always tricky when you go away, you know, because short of taking your whole craft room, which, you know, I do end up kind of feeling like I'm packing up half my stuff because I can't bear to leave anything here. I think, oh, I might want that, I might need that. And before I know it, I've got half my craft room, you know, more craft stuff than clothes, which is kind of ridiculous. But, you know, you may have some other brilliant ideas that, you know, would be really awesome to hear. So please do share, you know, anything else that you think is, you know, a really good way of crafting when you're on holiday. So I hope that you like the project. And like I say, I will actually come back probably and do some decorating on this one, probably some decorating on this one too. And yeah, I really hope that you like them, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks then. Bye.